Hey Jace, come here. Check this out.
Jonthan Blow is the creator of this fantastic indie title called Braid. Blow accomplishes two things extremely well in Braid. First, he manages to tell a story that is so heavily connected to the gameplay that it tends to strike a chord on a personal level. Second, he makes a game with no tutorial whatsoever, yet he still manages to demonstrate how to play the game through contextual recognition. How does he pull this off? Well, he uses the concept of bending time and space. Who wouldn't want the ability to manipulate time, right? Well, in terms of the story, it's a concept that I could imagine almost anyone could relate to. Everyone makes mistakes, but with the ability to manipulate time, would you go back and correct those mistakes? Now, in the case of Braid, you have to. It's a game mechanic after all, and it relates to something called progression. Now, the game's story is told over a series of books that are laid out intentionally before entering each world's levels. Essentially, they're connecting the story elements to the actions of the time manipulation in said levels. It's an interesting dichotomy between gameplay and story. It makes you wonder how life carries on regardless of what you do. Even if you manipulate time, you still have no control over the outcome of any given situation. You can only ever go back as far as you entered the level, and if you overanalyze like I do, then you conceptualize it as the beginning and end of time. Everything in between can be tampered with, and this is where you learn to basically fix your mistakes. Now, the start is when you were born, and if you make it past all the obstacles laid before you, then you find the pieces to the bigger puzzle, you become a better person for it, and you move on. If you die, though, everything stops. There's no choice but to either rewind or give up. From the outset, you have a set goal. In Braid, each goal is predetermined. You're not traveling through time, you're essentially only fixing your mistakes towards the set goal. And those mistakes are only, obviously, in relative terms. It's a stubborn goal for the character Tim, who refuses to, leave this goal behind. He is constantly attempting to find the princess, and of course the princess is always in another castle. Now, from a gameplay perspective, it's an obvious nod to the father of all platformers, which is Super Mario Bros. But it cannot be ignored that it demonstrates the inability for Tim to let go of something that he has absolutely no control over. Dude, the chick is not coming back. The abundance of Mario Bros. References also give the player a sense of nostalgia that sends them mentally back to a time, say, I don't know, just fill in the blanks with your own past. I mean, the list could go on forever. He also introduces the ability to slow down time with, wait for it, an engagement ring. What does it do? It slows down time. Think about that. Again, we are only postponing the inevitable, but not in any way changing it. Now, I'm going to preface this with a spoiler in case the title of the podcast didn't already warn you. I'm going to tell you how it ends. Now, the game starts on World 2. Once you solve all the puzzles, you get closure. Yet, as the ending unfolds, you find yourself outside her bedroom window with only one thing to do: rewind time. However, as you rewind time, you realize that you're actually going forward in time, and instead of saving her from an abduction, she's actually running away from you the whole time as she jumps into the arms of another man. Brilliantly done. I strongly recommend you play Braid. The only enemy in the game is yourself.